Hello and welcome to the Car Care Nut Shop, and welcome to one of the busiest days ever on record for the shop. This is as busy as we have ever gotten, I think ever, and it is a good problem to have, but at the same time it's a little stressful. So we got to get everything done, and we work around the clock here. I'm gonna give you a shop tour. There's a few changes here and there, and something we've done a little bit consistent, then we stop, but we wanna slowly get back to it. Not as weekly update, but maybe once a month, once every 2 months, see how you guys like this video. What is this car doing in the shop? Or all of these cars doing in the shop? We always have cars in the shop, and you all see them in the background here and there. Not as much since we started filming here, but let's give you the tour. This LX470 has been here for a very long time. Fortunately, we are waiting for some back order parts for some AC work here. We also did I believe the timing belts. It's been so long. This thing's been here so long. If you're the owner of this car, she's safe and sound. We keep this car normally in we call it the permanent storage. Not permanent storage, but like we don't want the cars that are going to be here for a while, we put them in another unit that we have. We won't show you that unit today because it's a little hectic, but this car is out because we're going to charge the battery and kind of just run it, drive it a little bit. And we're still waiting on some parts for the rear AC, back order. Welcome to 2024. This beautiful Camry, I believe this is a 2021, don't quote me on the year, is here for a camera installation. The customer wanted this very fancy dash cam that has cameras on the mirrors, and I want to run usually they tell you just run it on the outside. It looks horrible. I'm going to run it inside the mirror. We're doing kind of a custom install. I'm going all max OCD on this one because I don't like to run my aftermarket wires, which is all over the place. We want to do it proper. This LS430, you guys have seen it in a video. It's actually the same day we filmed that video. We just inspected it. We're going to call them first thing tomorrow morning, tell them what we found with it, whatnot. Same thing with the Sequoia. Sequoia also, we just filmed the video today, and you've probably seen this in the future. It won't make sense, but I hope it does somehow. That Sequoia is all done. We're just waiting for the passenger side window motor to arrive so we can install it, and it's done. You already saw the video on it. You know what happened. This beautiful LS400. This is the kind of car that I tell the guys here, when we walk next to this car, we're going to hold our breath, pass it, and then start breathing again. It is possibly the cleanest LS400 I've ever seen. I believe it is, and don't quote me on the year, might have been in 98. Just look at this inside. Just 96, I am sorry. 98 is a different body style. Look at this interior. It's just, we can breathe again. Let's walk away from it because it's here for some brakes all around, and the valve cover gaskets that it's leaking. Nothing out of the ordinary. We have not started in this car yet. It's not a long drop off, but this is actually second on the roster. We have one more car that is finishing, and then this one is going in next. This 100 series Land Cruiser, which it's like a better word, needs a detail. Let's put it this way. It's been sitting for a while. This I believe is an 07, 06 or 07. This is the last one. It has a parasitic draw, and it's been sitting for a long time. It's kind of a toy for the customer. Actually, we have his other Land Cruiser here for a head gasket as well. This just got dropped off today. It's very rusty. It seems like it has a lot of issues, so we haven't even dug into this yet. But this is maybe, if we turn up something with it, maybe you'll see it on video. This Sienna minivan, you guys have also seen it on video. This is actually done. Well, not done. We didn't do the work because the dealership is honoring the warranty, and we're good. They're actually flying in tomorrow to pick it up, and she's gonna be gone. We're gonna miss the owner because he's such a nice gentleman, and we'll wish him the best. And you already guys saw the video on this minivan. This is actually done. It's just waiting to be picked up tomorrow. Let's go to the main shop area, and we'll talk about the rest. You guys haven't seen the main shop area in a while now. It's not a lot have changed, but some stuff has changed. First, the herd. Welcome to the herd. The parts are gone. We actually moved the entire parts department over there. We have a new team member, Amir. Such a nice guy. He's our parts manager here because parts are getting out of control, and I have to distribute my time between fixing cars, diagnosis, and then talking to folks on the phone, writing estimates, whatnot, because I'm the only person that writes estimates here. That's how we don't make mistakes. If one person writes them, and I wanted to be that person, so that's my sole responsibility. So I needed somebody to be in charge of parts. Jose used to help us with the parts, but between editing, filming, and doing all kinds of other stuff, it was getting a bit much. So we were really happy to welcome Amir. Amir owns a Tacoma, and he's a very good friend, super Toyota enthusiast, does have prior parts experience, so really glad to have him here. So that's where all the parts department goes, and eventually all the equipment, shop equipment, will also move in the other unit. Not going to show you the other unit, it's a little messy, or kind of have a mini construction. That's where the cars that are here for a long term, cars that don't run, cars that were waiting for parts, stuff like that. LX was there, but we moved it here to recover the battery. But let's give you the tour of everything else. We have a lot going on. This Tacoma was in here. This is, I believe, a 2005. Don't quote me on the years because there's a lot to remember. This is here for the rack and pinion. This is a car we previously done a head gasket job on. And customer, at the time, we told him rack and pinion was leaking a little bit, then started leaking a lot. So we did rack and pinion. Actually, we had a complication with this one. The steering shaft was completely seized and it had play, so we ended up replacing that as well. This car is actually completely done. They're picking it up tomorrow morning. This car is a 2005 Camry, I believe. So this is done, but we're waiting for one part, which we might actually release it and have it come back, because it was here for a timing belt. Timing belt's all done. It's been done for a long time. The customer's out of town. The gauge is all foggy and completely tried everything to restore it. It's just, you can't even see the gauges. So we actually ordered a glass. Believe it or not, they still make it. But initially they told us it'll be next week delivery, and now it's in back orders. So we're kind of going back and forth. Yeah, I'm going to confirm that if indeed it is back order, I'm going to tell the customer, pick up the car as soon as we get it. Swing by. It's not a big job. We'll just take care of it, because it's not something that, even though I think it is a slight safety concern, but we can't keep it here for gauge, for glass. That's something, because we're running out of space. This 4Runner was a drop off for today. This is a real dear customer of ours. They're having some issues with the brakes. Haven't even dug into it. This was dropped off later in the day. Tomorrow, this is tomorrow's car for me. We're going to dig into it, see what's going on with the brakes. They said the brakes don't feel right and whatnot. So we can't really go through here, so we have to go around through the front, which is it's the new problem when we close. Then we go back. The Highlander that you see there, that is a very mysterious problem that we've been chasing for a while. Actually, this has been here for a few weeks. We're intentionally keeping it here, not there, because this Highlander runs fine. As soon as it rains, we have all kinds of electrical gremlins. And of course, the day they drop it off, there's no more rain for the next 2 weeks. We are hoping that tomorrow is going to rain, tomorrow or Friday, and we're going to leave it outside intentionally to see what it does, so we can finally figure out what's going on with it. We think water might be getting in, but we just don't see it. We have the dash actually partially torn, so we can see it when it rains, but so far nothing. This is one of those cars. What are you going to do? You got to keep going until. The 4Runner behind it is actually an interesting story for you guys. This is either a 20 or a 21 4Runner. It has a problem with, every time you fill it with gas, it just clicks immediately. Took it to the dealership, oh, we'll start with a canister, the owner just didn't like the language of the dealership. He felt like they came back to him after 10 minutes, oh, it needs a canister. Did you even look? And he was right, because it was not the case. Doesn't have any check engine light or anything. The first thing we did, took it to the gas station, verified the concern. Yep, put the gas, click it, immediately clicks off. What we actually ended up finding with that car, he just bought it. He's not, like, he didn't know its previous history. Somebody tried to siphon gas out of it. And in the process, there is a one-way valve on the nose of the tank. They bent it and twisted it, and it got stuck. Because that valve is supposed to be, when gas hits it, it opens, and then when it's done, it closes. That got twisted up and stuck, so you only have this little opening for gas to go in, so the fumes are backing up and clicking the pump. So we actually ended up putting a fuel tank. That car is also done. I believe the only thing we got left with it is, I want to test it one more time. We're going to go drive it to the gas station, fill it up full tank, just make sure everything is 100%, and she's done. The Highlander behind that, you can't even see because we can't get to it. Cars are packed in very tight because we don't have space. That is a 15 Highlander, I believe. Very nice couple. So they initially used to service at a dealership. They did some weird stuff. Our local dealership here is, yeah. They ended up slowly fixing the car. At first needed brakes, then a water pump, then this and that. So this is actually the last stage of repairs before the car is completely done. So we spread it out over a year's time. This was the water pump replacement. This car is set. I think we needed some maintenance to catch up on. Brakes were needed, and then the water pump. So the water pump, that car is actually done. Surprised they didn't pick it up because this is our only car, but they didn't pick it up. It's been done all day basically. I think we were done with it early in the morning. Just had to bleed it. It was done from the day before. This Camry is a very, very dear friend of mine, which he got himself into a pickle. He bought this car sight unseen, and I'll give you a second to guess what's wrong with it. Yes. This has the trifecta. Engine burns oil like it's going out of style. Torque converter is shuddering. The rear shocks are blown. The CV boot is leaking. The wheel bearing is out. The radiator is leaking. And it's like, when he brought me this car initially, I told him, what are we doing here, brother? This is too much. This car needs an entire makeover. He's like, I got it for dirt cheap and I'm kind of stuck with it. So, and the best part is he just got married, invited me to his wedding, and this is the car he decided to buy for his wife. What a great start, brother. Oh, I gotta tell you, you got a lot to learn there. You drive the old bad car, the boss drives the nice one. That's how life should always go. Well, he drives an LS430, so it's a nice one actually. So we are doing the engine. Actually, the engine is almost done. We just got to put the harness on it, torque converter, and we had a bunch of delays because we had actually, once we've taken it apart, the balance shaft had decided to let loose inside, or about to let loose, so we had to wait for that. That delayed us a little bit. But this one doesn't look like it's almost done, but it's actually almost done. Just got to put the engine back tomorrow and start it, run it, go through the paces. Everything else is done. Actually, I take that back. CV boot we got to do because we couldn't do this side because it's supported. Moving on from this one, which I don't know how we're going to make our way through. This is the engine for that car, by the way, short block and whatnot. You guys have seen that. We have the twins. Well, not really. This is an Ultra. This is a 2001 or a 2002 Ultra. Came in for some air suspension gremlins. The rear shocks were leaking. He actually already had the shocks, the owner, so we replaced them. Only has 82,000 miles. We're dealing with some other gremlins. I just wanted to leave it overnight, and it's been here for quite a while. It has not sagged, so I think we are good. I usually like to keep the cars for air suspension work overnight to make sure they don't sag, they don't droop, whatnot. But she's doing good so far. It's been out almost all day, didn't drop. This LS430, very nice gentleman that owns it. He recently bought it, if I remember correctly. They have a few gremlins here and there with noise and whatnot. Unfortunately, they just spent a small fortune fixing this car with aftermarket parts, and they all make noise. Rear shocks make noise, front stuff make, it's just a mess. And the owner of this car actually told me something. This is their first car ever, and they're not a 19-year-old kid. No, it's an adult, probably my age. They live in the city. They just never needed a car. This was their first car. Actually, we're actually kind of honored this in LS430. Fortunately, their experience is not going well because they went to the wrong shop with all aftermarket stuff. Everything makes noise and whatnot. Then there is another LS430. Beautiful. That one is really nice. That's also an Ultra. Actually, I take it back. This is a custom, not an Ultra. This one is actually almost complete. Timing belt in kind of a full inspection. Past inspection of flying colors. One muffler has a small leak. Some covers at the bottom are broken. And the only thing we're waiting for this on, which we ordered it today actually, PCV hoses are torn. Talked about this in a video that for the Sequoia. That should come in tomorrow morning. We'll put the PCV hoses, take it for one final test drive. She's ready to fly. What a beautiful, that one is really a beautiful one. So going beyond that, I don't know how we're gonna make our way. I think we should go back in that way because I don't want to lean against the cars here because this one is a beautiful one. Let's go back this way, folks. See, this is the problem. We close and we pull all the cars in. There's no space to walk anymore. We were not meant to walk. This beautiful GX470, I mean, this is one of the cleanest GX470s I've seen here. Might not look like it right now because it's torn apart, but control arms. And he has upper control arms. These ball joints were loose. This is some Freedom, whatever, off-road. I really dislike the setup. I wish he would change it, but the ball joints were completely loose. Initially, the customer was like, we never work with lift kits. I don't want to deal with them because you'll be going through ball joints like it's going out of style. I just don't like aftermarket ball joints. The owner, being the owner that he is, and how much I have respect for him, he asked me, he's like, I know you don't like to get into these, but is it possible while we're doing the work you swap this ball joint? Initially I was like, I really don't want to get into this aftermarket stuff, but he's such a good customer, I'm not going to say no to him. We did all this work. We actually did a remain seal on this, so the trans was out. We just put it back yesterday, and we did this today. So tomorrow we'll put this back together, throw it in an alignment machine. Should be all set and we're good. This was actually not a rusty car, so the control arms actually came apart without a big fight. We're still going to put new bolts just to future proof it. Beautiful car, this one. This one is, I mean, just look at this beautiful paint. I love this car. It's in such good shape. It's really well taken care of. Then we got this Sienna, which actually we're just starting on this Sienna. This one is in here for a timing belt. The knock sensors have codes and something else. Actually, the owner added multiple things as he dropped it off. We haven't gotten that far. Some power steering hoses, some stuff. This one I don't remember because he is bringing majority of the parts. So when I don't order parts, it doesn't stick to my memory very well. Then I don't think you guys have caught the technician that works here. He was actually at the, put a small shot so you guys can recognize him. This is Luis. He is a very impressive young man. Very quiet. Luis is, we call him Quiet Luis. Doesn't talk much. Very hard worker. He is impressing me every single day. I'm really proud of Luis, how far he's come. He's a dedicated young man. He's actually very young, but he's very talented. And really proud of Luis. He has a very fancy box. He had a red box initially, and I told him, do you really need a bigger box? He's like, I really want. Luis is into tools, and he likes his tools, so he wants a proper space for it. Then we have, before we get into the car, our newest addition to the team, Caleb. Caleb is a master technician who I've worked with in the past. You could tell the bigger box and a lot of tools. Caleb is really into tools. Caleb is a master technician that I worked with Toyota. He is, I always felt like he was never meant to work at a dealership, and the reason I say that is in good heart. He is such a meticulous guy that he takes his time with everything, and in a dealership environment that equals you're never going to have a big paycheck. That's how it works at a dealership. Very good diagnostician, very meticulous about every little thing. He is that kind of guy. I really respect Caleb, huge respect for Caleb from past experiences, and when the opportunity worked out that he was going to move close here and we were going to work together, I was really looking forward to it because he's such a good guy, personal and professional. So really happy to have Caleb on the team. This Tundra is here for timing belts, and one of the leaf springs actually broken. Do you know how expensive the leaf springs on these? That's scary. Me and the owner of this truck, we almost had a heart attack. It's $940 per leaf spring on these things. That's a lot of money. Now this truck, the cool thing about it is it's got a new frame. So how bad can it be from there? We got a 2UZ and everything else we can fix. So timing belt, parking brakes don't work. The cable is seized and broken. We got to do that. A few odds and ends here and there. But transmission lines are leaking. They're rusty. Of course, I mean the frame was rotten at some point. That's gotten replaced. And then we have, I think we covered the last two on this side at least. This is a beautiful 99 Camry. Actually has very low miles. It's never had a timing belt done, so we're getting the first timing belt done. Few little things here and there, but nothing out of the ordinary. The owner of this car, I gave him the option at the time, do you want to schedule it? Because we did an inspection on it. They just got it. Do you want to schedule an appointment in the future so we can get this work done? Or you want to leave it with us? This is not your primary car. He elected to leave it with us. I think this is actually going in early next week. We're filming this almost at the end of the week here. This is going in early next week, and get it done, get it going. It's actually going after the Tundra. This one has been here, I can't even remember. It's been here so long, very long, because this is someone from Canada. There's actually a fellow countryman of mine. Bought it sight unseen from an auction. Don't do that, folks. That's a bad idea. Cars go to auctions for a reason. Look at the rust. Look at that rust. Unbelievable. Doesn't have holes, but man. And you notice in the midst of all the rust, there is an extremely shiny part if you look underneath it. Yes. Is that a brand new transmission on this thing? This was a very long conversation with the owner of this car, because I told him I don't think this is worth it. I mean, he thought about it, tried to get away. He's like, I'm kind of stuck with it. I mean, I've already bought it, put a lot of money into it, hoping it was good. Let's just fix it. I mean, I hope it holds for him. It surprised me, this car, because it looks in such rough shape when it got here. It's still very dirty, dusty, whatnot. Put a transmission, it had no reverse and barely goes past first gear. Put a transmission, it actually drove pretty good. I'm surprised. Brakes cleared up. We're gonna still put front calipers in front of them, it's locked up, but it's cleared up pretty good. I think we have some KDSS bushings, and I think we have a wheel bearing that I haven't looked into yet, and steering shaft is seized. So that's something that we got the transmission going. I did not want to do anything else until we make sure that there is nothing else this car needs. We just got to look into that wheel bearing. This is a long-term project. Obviously, the customer bought it for kind of an expedition rig and whatnot. I don't know with this rust if that's going to be a good idea, but we're going to wish him well and hope for the best. So this is a shop, folks. Things have been extremely busy. Let's put it this way. I mean, we are working non-stop. The only thing I will never do is ask one of my technicians to stay overtime, because we come here, we work for 8 hours, we work very hard. I mean, sometimes we don't even talk. We just walk in at 9 o'clock, before you know it, it's 6 o'clock and we're leaving. That's how things get here. But I never ask my technicians, hey, just stay late so we can catch up. We work very hard for 8 hours, then we go home and rest, we start. Now, if I only apply that principle to me, life will be good. I think Mrs. Carkir and I will be more happy, but I own this place. It's my name on the building, basically, not in the building, but on the shop. I am responsible with these customers, so we gotta stay late and work on cars and then film videos, do all kinds of stuff, but I think I am still in my decent prime. I'm not very young, but not very old either. So if we're gonna push hard work right now, this is the time. Maybe later on we'll slow down as the years catch up to us. Folks, I hope this video is helpful and informative. I hope you learned something new. If you like it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some of my videos. Until the next video, folks, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.